Welcome to the Sidebar, Shots Edition. I'm David.
And I'm Capitalismo, and Gabe isn't with us because I've skinned him and turned his ribcage into a tasteful nativity scene.
And we're together again to record on the eve of Christmas Eve. Probably release this a little later. Old Davey is out of town and everyone else is busy early January, so we're trying to get ahead on scheduling and cover some hot scoop. Specifically, the sad tale of Mark Dawson. So, bit of a different one. This is maybe late-breaking drama. It took me down an interesting rabbit hole. I'm going to try and talk Cap through it. And Cap, in the long tradition of this show, which we're just starting now, I'd like to open up this little mini-sode by asking you, what do you know about Mark Dawson?
So, the only thing I know about Mark Dawson is that he published a bunch of like airport thriller novels. That's about it. So I'm going to be taking the place of our audience and trying to act with the correct amount of disgust at whatever the hell Mark Dawson did. Is he a rapist? Is he a child rapist? Is he a child who is a rapist? I don't know. Although I did listen to you earlier, so it's like he's probably a plagiarist. So I'll try to. Yeah. I'll try to not call for chemical castration or surgical castration of him, but whatever you got in the can, I'm here for. So.
Yeah. And did his name ever crossed your eyes that you're aware of before I shared that link with you?
No.
Yeah. Similar. So, shout out unknown friend of the show, mysterious friend of the show, Rhyme, shared this link as a topic to cover on the Unreal Press podcast. RIP.
R.I.P.
I stole it, and now we're doing it here. Thanks, Ryan.
So you've plagiarized this topic.
Well, I don't know if it counts if they don't do the work. It's more like I don't know what you call this. It's like copyright infringement, maybe, because it was like an idea. I don't know. I don't know the legality. I'm not an expert.
You stole their super good idea that they had no intention of executing on.
Idea guys, I don't feel so good. I think yeah, pretty much. Just my forte in this micro niche we find ourselves in is stealing ideas from other people and then just actually doing it. And usually I find that I'm the only one that ever does it. So
hey, I too am here.
Amen. Let me see, Gabe. So why cover Mark Dawson? His story initially popped up from a Reddit thread, which I'll post on the screen now. And Cap, I shared some links with you if you want to open up and take a look. We're not going to do a deep dive into this right away. I just want you to be aware this is sort of the instigating factor in this investigation that at first blush appears to be a sort of plagiarism trial, but I think is actually a lot more and says a lot more about the state of writing, reading, literature in 2023, 2024.
I thought you were going to say arithmetic.
yeah, that might come into it later.
Well, the first line is that it says he wrote 20 books in 2 years. So, I mean, the arithmetic here does not actually make any sense. That should be your first red flag, really.
Yeah, exactly. And we're looking at it as a pretty damning paragraph summarizing him as basically someone that essentially he's a plagiarist. There's line by line comparisons for anyone that can't see it from a book written by him, a book written by someone else, and it's pretty compelling. I have to admit, when I first opened this up, I'm a bit of a contrarian by nature, and there's a kind of a Reddit witch hunt right now thanks to a Mr. H. Bomber guy just searching for people that are plagiarists.
You mean Mr. Chris Rufo?
Oh, that too. Yeah. Rip Mrs. Gay.
Excuse me, Dr. Gay. Dr. Fake and Gay. I'm also the first one to tell that joke. That joke wasn't plagiarized from anyone else, and anyone else who said it stole it from me. Just so that's out there.
Yeah, they need to cite us. I think I saw you do that earlier. So a lot of these plagiarism accusations, they really rely on just side by side, a line reads similar to a line. I think it's really petty and nitty gritty a lot of the time. So I came into this a little bit, ready to stand for this guy I'd never heard of who wrote shitty airport novels. At least that's what I thought, until I said, you know what? Let's be objective. Let's look at the evidence. So we're not going to dive into the details of that just yet. First, I want to read it right from the horse's own mouth. And for that, let's open his wiki page, and it's a really brief wiki page. There's a second link here.
I mean, he must be at least, notable enough to have a wiki page, right? That didn't get, even if he wrote it himself, right? It didn't get deleted, right?
Exactly. It survived that abuse.
Yeah.
But it backs up some of the claims. So, let's do this. We'll do this quick intro, a summary of, I'll call this Mr. Dawson in his own words. So the wiki page says he's self-published English author, most well-known for his John Milton series of thriller novels. Personal life, who cares? He's British or something. But then if you look at works there, Cap.
No early life section. Highly suspicious.
Actually, stay tuned. The early life comes in later.
Shit.
That comes later. But just look at these year counts. Like he is knocking out like 3-ish books a year. Note that what you see within a series, it isn't inclusive of everything within that year. If you scroll down, there's the sublists are by book series.
He published 3 novels in a single series in the same year. Yeah, that's a bit. Oh, wait, he did. Oh, but he also did that twice with 2 different series in the same year. He published 3 novels and 3 novellas in the same series in the same year. That's okay. Truly, yeah, truly prolific. Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone listening to this that has attempted to write a novel or write anything at all will know that I think it's pretty well broadly accepted that if you write 1 novel a year, that's a pretty aggressive pace, particularly if you're not doing it full time, which most people are not.
I'm getting pretty close to 40 years, and I'm still on 0. So,
yeah, I've written one that's I don't think is good enough to go out there, and it took me like a year to write it, and then I'm still editing it between other stuff. It's just a goddamn huge amount of work. And that's a little bit of why this makes me so salty. Some of what this kind of, I guess, propagates within the culture. But anyway, without getting too condemning, because right now I really want to build you up just with an understanding of Mr. Dawson in his own words and who he claims he is. Yeah.
I came up with that phrase on my own.
And Cap, take a look at the bottom of that wiki page. Does anything catch your eye? Anything about the sales figure section there?
Let's see. In 2020, I am quoting Wikipedia. In 2020, Dawson's book, The Cleaner, reached number 8 in the hardback fiction section of the Sunday Times bestseller list after he purchased 400 copies of the book, seeing it to have previously been in position number 13. Nielsen Bookscan initially approved the sales, believing them to have been part of a virtual book signing. It was then removed from the list, and the list was recalculated after he mentioned on his own podcast that he had bought that shit. So, yeah.
Note at the bottom, the most heavily cited thing in this entire wiki has 4 citations to back it up.
That is 4 citations. So that is.
Yeah, that was some contention there.
Yeah. Although they are from mainstream media sources, so
True. They told me to get the vax, so who knows? All right, that's his wiki. I feel like that gives us an objective view, right? So we know he's written a shitload. The contents of it, thrillers. That's all we know. This could be a respectable man. There could be something real going on here. Maybe he's Maybe he's just working, burning that
Yeah,
midnight oil.
maybe he just has like a schlock factory. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
Never judge a man for securing the bag. But I feel like perhaps there's a yes and that you coming.
Yeah, there is a little more, but before we switch gears, I just want to look at his own personal website. So open up that next link, markjdawson.com.
Got it.
Okay, a couple key points here. So the first one, you'll just see this, 26 results for the shop section, and these are just, you can see the visuals, the art, and you can see it's pretty standard if you scroll down to all the countless man standing in a street.
Oh yeah,
images.
Man, heavily contrasted, looks at an object in the distance. We only see the man's back. The author's name appears above the title of the book and is in a significantly larger font. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Which, seeing this,
it looks like an airport novel. Like he's not the,
yes.
he's got the, he's copying the genre well. Also, he apparently has a series of children's novels, which has a cast of cartoon children of I don't know, calculated diversity, and all of them seem to have like sidekick dogs, one of which looks exactly like PBS's Martha Speaks. So I feel like maybe he's plagiarized the character design on that pupper.
Oh my God, you're right. It does.
Exactly like it.
It's ridiculous. Okay. There's something that just jumped out to me too on this. I didn't even think about it till now, but your point about his big name, that sends a really interesting psychological cue to us as people that see books. Whenever the name is that large, that's a bestseller title. And if you'll cast your mind back to that Reddit post, the title was Bestseller Mark Dawson Does Plagiarism.
Right.
Okay. So again, when I opened this, my frame of mind was, oh, this guy, he's big. Like, I must be missing something out. He's just, I don't read thrillers really. So I just, I'm not aware of him. And you see this art for the record is, this is photo bash. So it's really just a silhouette, transparent background. You just copy paste over any landscape.
Yeah.
You copy paste over a landscape. And then you add a filter to the landscape to make it look yellow or blue or whatever. Like, this is shit that that I could do, that anyone with like the dabbles with this kind of stuff could do.
Day one Photoshop,
easily.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. This is not advanced, which is not, books do not need to have advanced, expensive covers in the least. But it's just a point. It's very formulaic within genre, and it has that cue that implies that this is a big author. All right, 2 real quick more, then we'll dive into the meat of this, I promise. 2 real quick detours. While we're on his website, Cap, can you go over and click on Good Deeds at the top?
I see, top
bar,
of
the browser there.
Good Deeds.
Right,
coming soon. Coming soon.
How would you describe that haircut on the saver there?
I would, dear Lord, that's like a 7 head. Dude, I mean, I don't even know if this is on the Norwood scale. It's like, it's like a 7S or something. He's not completely bald. It looks like his hairline has retreated perfectly in a semicircle all the way back to the middle of his skull. So, yeah.
After Norwood scale 7, it goes actually beyond Roman numerals. Yeah. It's just.
It's fuck my shit. It is actually like fuck my shit up. Yeah, it is. It's
brutal.
Rough. It's rough.
Okay, so I think that covers the basics. My journey with him started here. Reddit post. Googling a little bit, and his SEO game is on point, by the way. If you Google this guy, his shit shows up top of the browser, top of the list. We have a bit of a sense. So, Cap, now that I hopefully laid out the bedrock of how I learned about this man. I guess I want to turn over to you. You know, what do you think of this guy, Mark Dawson? What do you make of him as a casual passerby that's gotten this crash course?
You know, now I'm looking at the Google image results for this guy, and that haircut is even worse than it looked like on his site. Like the site was the best of them. Yeah. No, he looks like Elton Brown's ugly cousin. Man, Mark, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, buddy. All right. Okay.
All right. Sorry,
no, go on. I feel like remind me what you asked me, because I feel like you didn't want me to just make fun of his appearance.
Of him? I keep bullying his baldness.
I don't know. Actually, you know, if you told me that this was a picture of John Scalzi, I probably wouldn't have corrected you, because they're both so soy that it's, you know, it yeah, I mean, he looks like, I don't know. He looks like he uses Reddit and has a lot of karma. Like
It's funny you mentioned that, because the secret last page of this I almost skipped. On his website, if you go to the blog section, it is the most Reddit shit you will ever see. I describe it as the facsimile of a normie being like played out live for you. It's this just he talks about Reddit shit, Cape shit. Like almost every other post that I skimmed on this referred to, what's it called, Wandaland or whatever the fuck it is. You know, Mandalorian, like it's all Marvel Cape shit. And he always talks about the cinema. He loves the cinema. And then he has like one or two, listener messages.
He loves the cinema, and then he mentions Disney Plus series.
Yes, yes. Right. That's kind of the energy of the blog.
I'm gonna roll it back. I'm gonna lean into my disagreeability index here and say that the season 1 of The Mandalorian was good, because they basically plagiarized the plot points of a bunch of classic Western and samurai movies. So it was.
Yes, actually.
So speaking of plagiarism, Mandalorian season 1, best plagiarism. Like if you need to see a 30-minute version of the seven samurai, except it's only 4 different guys, like that's it. Like that's the one.
Yeah. So. And one's like a fat little ugly midget alien dies at the end. Actually, I've never seen Seven Samurai, but I do agree with you.
You are actually missing out there. Magnificent Seven is also good. Actually, you know what? I'll watch every single version of that story. I'm that. I'll be that cringe fucker. That's the one.
I did see the original OG Magnificent Seven, and it was good. Just like classic hero shit.
Yul and a bunch of guys.
But and Mandalorian I think does prove I agree with your Edge of the Lord point. I do think plagiarism is actually pretty based if it's done properly, and it's like inspired by and done that, which is why I wanted to defend this guy against the Reddit brigades. But I think it's time to take a dip into his dark side, Cap.
All right. I'm ready. My body is ready, and I'm the first person to have said my body is ready.
All right. So, thank you for that, OG. All right. So let's open up the Reddit post again. We're going back to where it all began.
Okay. I'll refer to Exhibit A.
Yeah, back to Exhibit A. Where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to find a specific sentence. Here it is. The second sentence of this first paragraph. He says himself that his books have had over 6 million downloads. So interestingly, on his books, he also references having millions, 4 million. I didn't see 6 million, but I believe it. They say he says on his website he has 6 million purchases and downloads. He kind of blends these two numbers together. Cap, are you a believer in the 6 million number?
Well, so how long does it take to download a single copy?
It's an interesting conflation to make.
Let's say we
downloads.
have 15 computers downloading nonstop. How many days does it take us to reach 6 million?
Exactly. Over how many, like 7 years? I don't know. How long has this guy been active? Yeah. When was Poland invaded? I mean, when did Kindle first become released? Yeah. That's interesting. And then the next line here, it talks about this, that he speaks at 20 books to 50K. Now, does that mean anything to you, Cap? 20 books to 50K? Because it did not mean anything to me before this.
20 books to 50K. You said he speaks at 20 books to 50K? Sounds like some... Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it that reeks of business seminar language. You know, like a mastermind or some shit like that, where you... where he would be selling some. Stop me if I'm stepping on your lines here. Okay, is 20 books to 50K a supposed secret sauce to getting 50K sales over 20 published items, and you get to pay him a couple $1,000 so that he can explain to you exactly how he does this?
Ding, 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 ding. All right. You solved the case already, Cap. Nice.
Oh, man, my grift sense is so strong.
And this actually affects one of our own local yokel lit homegrown boys. The guy that wrote Son of the Sun, or whatever it's called. I never read that book.
Oh,
he was a lit OG
yeah,
guy.
he man, very recently was buying ads on 4chan for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I also have not read that.
So it's exactly as you described it. It's a pay me for my really basic level of understanding of how to market and all that. And there was an interesting, I want to post it under this video too, article from David V. Stewart, who's a guy, he's a YouTuber. He has a Substack that's really good. In his article, I'll refer to this. In his article, I bet he'll make a video on this at some point. He talks about what 6 million means, like 6 million downloads, 6 million purchases. Like he says, that's basically like a Soundgarden CD, or like that kind of equivalent of saturation.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's platinum, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
Like 5 million is platinum, right?
I think so. I'm actually not sure, but I that sounds right, because like I don't listen to Soundgarden, but I know who they are. Like, I'm aware just because the saturation in the market. And it's the same for this. Like if someone sold or even just had downloads and like half of the people read the book or read some of it, you would know.
Albums selling 1 million units is platinum. So it.
Okay. So
right.
Well above, comfortably north of platinum. We're diamond.
Although that would be although if he has 20 books, and he's got 6 million downloads, it's possible that none of them went platinum.
Yeah, or just
or one did it 6 times
downloading.
You know?
Yeah, a million times per laptop. Okay. Well, okay. I have some conclusions. Before I get to conclusions, I think we have to go to like the ugly underbelly of this. And so if you could please, Cap, open up the YouTube and the Patreon links I've provided. Let's start with the YouTube. Take a looky-loo. Right, so if you search this guy on YouTube, this is what you will see. You will find this, and you'll find a gay erotica writer who shills an affiliate link to his trainings.
Self-publishing formula. 20.1K subscribers. Yeah.
And he gets okay views. Like it's like 1,000.
500 views per video. So those subs are botted.
I think somewhat, but I think he does have some following, because he gets at least 1,000 on every video for the most, maybe not the recent ones, but everything that's been out for a while.
Oh yeah.
And your boy David actually listened in at 1.5 speed at this, an episode or two. Okay, not episode 2, like the first 10 minutes of 2 episodes. It is just brutal shilling at the start, and then followed by what I can only describe as 101 level of like, what you need to do to be a successful writer. You need to have an email list. You need to advertise. This type of basic stuff. But then the beginning of every one, it has a professional opening. I'm sure he spent some money on a Fiverr dude to make that. But it's just him, on the webcam, just face bagging.
He's got some. I will say he's got some pretty slick thumbnails. I will not knock his game there. Mm-hmm. These video topics are a little suspicious, like how to like catering for the Christian market. I mean, that seems a little. It's not sussy. Very well. It's seems like it's in poor taste. Like you're just treating people who have like sincere moral beliefs as if they're nothing more than a market segment, which to be fair, if you're just optimizing for market segmentation, then that's how you do that. But
but that is the heart of the 20 books to 50K model, which is interesting because it's sort of this weird, it's not really an MLM, but it's kind of like it, where it has this grind set of producing these 20 books, but it's not just making the books. It's that the books are hyper targeted to a micro genre and then heavily advertised. It's always these two aspects of it.
So this is like, I mean, I will take you at your word, you my colleague and co-host, and say that is a fair assessment. So this is basically not it's not books are not art, books are products in this formulation. And the way that you get something out there isn't to, you're not trying to get a message out, and you're not trying to sell a unique story, and you're not trying to sell something that's necessarily even pleasing to you. What you're trying to do is find the top 10 tags, right? Story tags on TV tropes or whatever, or I don't know what fucking Gumroad or whatever.
Werewolf romance.
Yeah, it's like a werewolf, friends to lovers, and like I don't know, piss play. Like those are the things that are trending. So we gotta have a werewolf piss on a bitch, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm with you so far. Go on.
That's dead on. And so it's all about all right, let's churn out 20 books, 50K words each or whatever, and just get these.
You just get over the hurdle of is this book length? How do we define a book? 50K words. All right. We get to 50K and one. All right, that's a book.
Yeah, and they do vary. The word count varies, but I'll just say they in their own explanation are very much think about this as a business, think about this hustle. And the language is very interesting too. In his podcast, he refers to it as content that he makes. And the language of the website, which I'll get to in a moment, where they advertise, they actually do the trainings, it is all exactly as you were saying earlier. It's marketing, grind set. You had a different term for it, but it's all in that. How do you make money? It's all about this is a career, this is your job outlook. Last point on this YouTube's, I promise we'll move on. Do you see the co-host? Are you able to click a link and see who his co-host is?
Well, I see these.
Are you able to see that, Cap?
He has a regular co-host. I see that the. Okay. So a lot of these appear to have rotating co-hosts.
It might be a guess because he has a standard one. If you open, I don't know, 410.
Okay.
Maybe it changed at a certain point.
No, I mean, sorry. Yeah, I see that there is this other guy, this rather nebby fellow, who
James Blatch.
Okay, James Blatch. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hit me.
That's all I'll say.
Hit me with it.
He's Jewish.
Oh, okay. All right.
Actually, I can't confirm that. See, we have just a suspected Jewish gentleman. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. I think everyone should have a Jewish gentleman guiding them from the shadows to make sure they succeed.
You know, I've had my own Yid Life crisis once and again. Also, I came up with that phrase Yid Life crisis. That's not any other thing. That's not like a show or a, that's not anything else. Yeah, I'm the one. Although, hey, you know what? These little previews do give us a good eye on Mr. Dawson's hairline because he's not head on. Mark, if you listen to this and you definitely have a Google result set up for yourself, so you definitely will listen to this. I say this without a hint of malice. Give up and bick it. Bick that shit.
Yeah.
Shave it off. Give up. It's over. It's fucking over, bud. Like,
shave it, but also don't have bravado about it. One of the things that pisses me off so much is when guys are like, "Oh, I finally manned up and shaved it off. Oh, you just got to know when the time's the time."
Or buy a bunch of hair plugs. You know what? Hair plugs are fine too. Just get cosmetic surgery. I don't care what it is, but what's happening right now? What's happening right now is not working for you. So, get rid of it. Get rid of it or buy some more. So.
All right, so then the double whammy here, Cap. Open up the Patreon. Let's take a look at the paid piggies. Let's talk about where the hair plug funding is coming from.
All righty.
And I'd like to just read out loud as you put the pieces together on how much he's making, if you'd be so kind.
All right. So he has 3 tiers: $1, $2, and $3. $1 gets you nothing. $1 is just a donation. You get a shout out. That's what you get. And you get you get SPF University. So basically you get to log into his live streams, I assume. He's got 209 members, and
you can't see how much.
You can't see how
there's
much.
A bit of guesswork on our part here, but it does say $3 most popular. I don't know if that's just a marketing thing Patreon does to encourage you.
Yeah,
or if it's actually accurate.
So he's getting between $209 and $627 a month.
That's the trick. That's what I thought too. Read the fine print after the dollar amount.
Oh, 6 month. Oh, 6 month qualifying period?
No, see, so VIP gold listener, $3 per podcast.
Oh,
weekly.
shit.
Oh my god. There's Pay Piggy is giving this guy's $3 a fucking week. Let's be conservative and say like 100 people, and then maybe the other 100, or I have no idea, like maybe a mix of $1 and $2 or something.
Okay.
Actually I didn't calculate that exact formula, but I can right now. I'm gonna put a calculator. All right, so here 100 times what was it? $3. So that's $300 per episode plus, let's say, an extra 100. So let's just say 400 per episode. 400 times, what would it be? 4, because once a week. So yeah, 1,600 ish, maybe, give or take 300 or something. Yeah. I think that's the ballpark we're looking at. Not bad for a low effort podcast that you just, you got after you pay the upstart, the startup costs.
So you're so you're locked in for 6. Yeah. So you're locked in for 6 months. Okay. All right. So, all right. Okay. All right. I get it. So go on.
This is the cornerstone of the grift. The second cornerstone is
you have to pay him at least. You have to pay him. So the $1 per podcast, it does not have a qualifying period, right? Mm-hmm. So wait, what? Hold on. What do these tiers give you? So the $1 lets you go to his live streams, and you get a shout out. The $2 is you get all podcast giveaways, such as cheat sheets prepared by our guests. So you get some spreadsheets or PDFs or whatever.
PDFs and spreadsheets.
And then one chance a year to win free enrollment into 101 Self-Publishing. Paid enrollment costs $500. And that's the only benefit to the $2, which is a 6-month qualifying period. So you're basically having to pay, you're basically, yeah.
But most people have to pay $600, I think. So you get $100 off of your PayPiggy cost to attend the 101 self-publishing course.
Right. But okay. Yeah. So basically for $72 minimum spend there, you're getting a scratcher for his self-publishing course. Yeah, I mean, all right, yeah. Like, so this is a car wash or gym subscription, right? He expects people who are really bought in, to get gung ho, sign up for the thing, get locked in for 6 months, and then not be able to cancel, and then forget to cancel, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're set. So that's really the heart of the grift, as far as I can tell. So he has these two setups, and he has the online training, and everything is just targeted towards basically this promise of money. It's implying that if you make 20 books, whatever constitutes a book, and you hyper target a niche and you do advertising, it'll work. And I guess now moving on to like the conclusion of why I think it's so awful, in many ways. There's a few. One, the kind of people who get lured into it are kind of vulnerable, not as street savvy people.
Well, that's your core market for all grifts.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Like this isn't. So this guy's maybe got like so let's just say on the business end, right? Like leaving aside all of the accusations of how he actually puts together his books, which like seems to be plagiarism. The main grift here is just, it's the same thing that like Grant Cardone or like a million other guys are doing for other financial sectors. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like that's the entire grift. You can have this like career that you dream. You just find a thing that people want to do. Like, oh, you can be a content creator, or you can be, you can have passive income, or you can, you can get the fucking Lambo. Right. So
yeah,
you
buy my shit coin. It'll happen.
Yeah, buy my shit coin, or take this thing to learn how to buy real estate with no money down, or blah blah blah, or whatever the fuck. Like, sell it works. Well, that's an MLM. That's a whole other level of bullshit. But like, okay, so but there's basically nothing special there, right? Buy my class.
I guess the damage to me is like social and cultural. So, on one side, it's encouraging the production of lowest common denominator,
absolute slop, right? Yeah,
on purpose. Yeah, and of course, plagiarism is going to happen. I mean, he's doing it himself just to meet numbers and say, "Oh, I made my 20 books. Sure, it was all shit. I probably used some, AI wasn't a big thing." Or didn't exist when a lot of these were written. So definitely he probably had a ghostwriter, some Pajit or God knows who, just do all the work or do a lot of work. And I'm sure work was involved, but there was no love for the craft. There was no attention to that. And so, I mean, I find that damaging in a few ways. It crowds out the market. It gives a really ugly reputation to the sector. I don't know. I just find it's worse to me. And I guess maybe the worst aspect of all is there's no fucking money in the sector he's purporting to make money in. Like, so he's like encouraging people into this. At least in shit coins, there is money to be made in shit coins. It's ugly and it's dirty.
But if you're the guy running the grift.
Exactly. Or if you're, if you have some savvy, I mean, you can make some money from shit coins or God knows what, or selling insurance, or there is an actual whatever there. I mean, in books, there just is not. And that drives me, that's another aspect that just drives me nuts about this, is that he's leading people to that for like the shittiest of incentive, shittiest of reasons.
Sure. I mean, yeah. But I mean, this is like maybe the most pedestrian, the most like sad pedestrian kind of that grift, right? You know, like, you know, so okay, so he's got 200 people who are paying him, you know, a minimum, 75 or 70 to $100 bucks.
Let's say a 2,000,
and then maybe
so,
remembering to cancel his shit. And he, you know, gets 50 cents every time some jackass downloads this thing on Kindle Unlimited. Actually, you know what? Did you look up any of his stuff on Amazon?
I did. Some of them there's suspiciously uneven reviews. So he has one with like 1,000, like 3,000 reviews, and some with a lot less. And it's like, did you bought or pay for some of these? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. Like, his shit is all... He's on Kindle Unlimited on a bunch of these, right? Oh, and I see he's releasing some book on May 1st, 2024. Book 23. Book 23 of the John Milton series is coming out on May Day. And he's selling it for $5 on Kindle, but then all of his other books are free on Kindle Unlimited. So, So essentially, right, his stuff is just, you know, he gets paid a pittance every time someone gets his stuff. So like maybe he's making a middle class income on this shit, right?
Yeah, he's not getting filthy rich from what I can tell. It's not the amount of money. It's just it's like the brazenness of the lie, and that I feel like people even in the plagiarism whatever response were not responding to that. Like they were responding to this, you know, whatever copy paste shit. But you know, really, he's part of this larger grift, and there's a whole economy of this. To your point about being, you know, the standard issue grift of this, you know, the 20 books to 50K is like, it's a thing. It's a larger movement. There's a lot of other people involved in it, and I don't know. I just hate it, because another thing is it discounts the hard work of people, like the kind of people whose books we review.
True.
Who, you know, I'm thinking of friend of the show, Mark Marlowe, or future friend of the show. Yeah. I'm sure. I saw him in some chat, and he was talking about how he worked his ass off for months, staying up till like 3 a.m. or some shit on weeknights to get his book done, because he was motivated.
The Jackalopians. We should probably at least say it.
Jackalopians.
Yeah.
Shout out Mark Marlowe, the Jackalopians, friend of the show. Citation. He said it. and his shit is gonna get crowded out by these people. And one, because it's self-published, but then and two, because in my opinion it's not the best cover. I know you stand for the cover. I don't like the cover.
I like the cover. I like the
Jackalope. Swamped by these people.
It's good.
Yeah, I know everyone likes it but me. It's terrible because this guy sweat and bled and. Well, he didn't coom for it. That's Dan Baltic, but he did a lot to get this out in the world. And
we have required shout outs. We have like a required shout out number.
Yes. Shout out Art of Dark Pod. Shout out XYZ. Yeah. I don't know. That's really where I rest my case, is that it's damaging. That's really what upsets me about it, reading through it, as well as obviously the low IQ people who are paying this guy or getting bamboozled into an easy solution. Which, again, actually, one more shout out. David V. Stewart, to look up on YouTube, he has all this kind of information, and there's other people who do it as well, but he has a very good instructional background. Like, he's very good at, and it's completely free. All this information is free. And not only that, my last point that really pissed me off, this is a dead and gone marketing strategy. I think we actually talked about this in the Dan Baltic interview. Everyone that does this marketing strategy, and I follow a few podcasts of these types of people, not the grifter
side.
You mean
people who are like buy ads for a market niche?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone that does Amazon ads to sell books or any kind of ads like that, the last 8 whatever months at least, everyone's been saying that strategy is fucking dead, and they're not moving books well at all, and people are dropping out, and it's just the market has been shifting and will continue to be shifting at least for a while. And so the strategies he's offering are like 5 years out of date. I don't know. It just really grinds my gears.
And that's the first time I've ever heard anyone say grinds. That's what really grinds my gears. So that's a David Harrod original. And your name's not a reference to A Line of Kings either.
No
plagiarism. No plagiarism intended. Also the first time that phrase has ever been used. Okay, so basically, the thesis here, right, is that MD, son of Daw, says, I want to create this. I want to be able to call myself a writer, but I don't want to actually write. And I want to be able to sell my expertise to people, because being an expert is the best thing you can be. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bunch of like prose segments from extremely formulaic novels and cobble them together into my own extremely formulaic novels. And then, having published these things and figuring out various ways to fuck with the metrics, I'm going to then sell my course on these supposed bona fides. And he's essentially the king of the mountain on the smallest hill, right?
Yep. Yeah. It was all inputs in order to reach the point where he could sell a program. And it seems like he had a good thing going for many years. And now this plagiarism thing, he's acting like as if it never happened. And who knows? Maybe he'll just kind of lurch through, because he's so that was what triggered this whole investigation of mine into who he is, because no one was reacting to it as much as they were just to that one Reddit post, because no one else knows who the fuck he is. They're just like, oh, he's a bestseller guy. He's a bestseller guy, because he markets and his site is set up and everything's set up to look convincingly that way. Mm-hmm. But the word's really not getting out, because he's a literally who, except for people who are that search on YouTube how to write well or something, how to write a book, how to get my book published or whatever.
Well, we've also just recorded like damn near an hour on this guy, and to me he's still a literally who, as of course I am to the broad swath of humanity. I'm not secretly famous in my clear life outside of the pseudonym. Definitely don't try to match my voice recordings to any notable voice actors or any public figures of any kind. I'm definitely not a meteorologist from Peoria. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't. That's it. That's all I got. That's the sad story of Mark Dawson.
R.I.P. Mark Dawson. Sorry about your hairline.
It's funny. Over 6 million downloads.